cities of the future. Okay, what's that? That's some kind of poetic, it's a byline that I've used for about 10 years. I'm thinking 1,000 years, short term. The problems in the world have taken 5,000 years to create. Why would we think we could solve them in 1,000 years? So think about that for a little bit. I'm not actually going to refer to these too much. You can read them while I'm talking. I'm kind of guessing that you like to multitask, otherwise you wouldn't be here. This is something about the sea hut. Now, on this project, there's a possibility, there's a guy named Peter Lassen, and he does a company called Montana. He's actually given a kind of a written, very short line, says he likes the project and he'd consider putting money into it, which is a really good way of saying, get busy, turn this into a project. So, any of you, all of you here tonight, this is not about me making a presentation of what I want to you. It's kind of a provocation of what you want for yourself. I thought the last presentation was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Only going in the exact opposite direction that I'm actually going. I want you to think about what you want, what you really need. What is life all about? What do you get to take with you? As you get older, you start really wondering about the stuff that you collected. You know, maybe you spend a lot of time collecting it, maybe you spend a lot of time protecting your collection. Do you live with a need or an interest in technology? And is this temporary, or is this going to be long-lasting for you? Do you like to eat? This is a big one. What I've been working on recently is, can we make houses that make food? And can we make these houses float? So, there's a law that's older than the ground law, and it's called the law of the sea. And in Denmark, it precedes your ground law. If you have a structure that is less than 15 meters, 3 times that. And it moves under its own power. You don't have to pay tax. Hey, yeah, I thought an applause would be appropriate. Thank you. Thank you, grandmasters of the past. Now, by law, you have to move. Right? But that's all you have to move. You have to be able to move your house. Now, if you can't get along with your neighbor, pull up your anchor. This is, I believe, the solution for the present. It's not about the future. If I was living in Japan last week, I think a house that floats would have been a useful object. Now, what do we have in this house? What is really necessary? What are we willing to get rid of? Cosmetics, anybody? I'm not using a lot, so it's easy for me to say. Now, what is essential to you in your life? What is essential? Okay, now, we can agree that what is essential for you isn't necessarily essential for me. I don't use lipstick anymore. What can I say? Now, if I really, really needed to use cosmetics, I could probably figure out how to make some organically. I could offer some kind of thing to trade to get someone else to do it for me. There could be all kinds of industries that didn't rip our planet apart. Now, I don't want to talk about it too much because everyone's doing it. When I was 16, I was inspired to think about all this stuff. Hey, we're still there. Okay. Any of that interesting? What we got going here? Okay, that one on top, imagine 5 of them, with a central thing in the middle that is serving, I don't know, day house for kids, workshop, little library, I don't know. Imagine that they're set up together. These are not structures, most of them are not, this is online. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, do you see those towers? Those are truck tires. The idea, can I build something like this by myself? Right? Can I go to some place and say, give me all last year's summer deck tires? Can I dig a hole? Can I mix my own concrete? Can I set in the rebar? And can I actually make my own 6-foot tower? Now, if I can build up the land, set a few tires in, find the trees that are the nearest ones I can drag in, it's very hard for me to design something because I'm going to build it with what I find surplus on the location. So this is one thing that's really stopped. People say that, you know, we tried to do this thing in Freeland. Okay, the thing in the center, it's a fireplace, 360 degrees. The idea is that you work with glass, you work with clay, you work with different kinds of things that the community is going to need in the wintertime when you need to keep the structure warm. So, I'm suggesting we're not going to have schools in the future because the whole planet is a school. We're going to be passing our kids to each other. We're going to be involved with making our own food. And I think this is the whole key. If man has somehow moved industrialization to the point and specialization where we don't even know what's in the food we're eating, this is why we are suffering distress. This is why we're getting sick. This is why we're confused. This is why we're starting to scratch. This is why we're getting the headaches. This is why things are sort of happening to us. You see somebody who's 17, he's been playing Game Boy all his life. He's been playing Game Boy. He gets up out of the chair. He sits down and plays Game Boy again. We are how we move. We are what we eat. And maybe we got to start getting rid of the stuff we don't need. What's essential and what is elemental. The law of nature rules. Thank you.